Hi all, welcome to another Kingscrusher Banter Blitz. It's Friday night, 9 PM. Okay, let's see challenges and stuff. I just realised my board isn't too ideal. Let me just, sorry about this, let me just sort that out. Yeah, it's been a bit of a rush to the Easter break. Okay, that's better there. If there's any challenges, just challenge me now. I hope I'm going to say hi there on stream. Okay, while there's a bit of a gathering, these also look weird. Sorry about this. I'll just fix these. And pardon me. Okay, so okay, if there's no immediate challenge, I'll go on the auto pairing. Maybe a 3-minute start off with 3-minute auto pairing. I'll kick off 3-minute auto pairing. I am on the 3-minute auto pairing. He's playing a Smith more. I'll decline it actually. I don't like playing against it that much either. Maybe I should have played h6 just while I can. Okay, can I target c4? So it's got a bit of a bind here. Can I do this? I'll try and get this bishop. Maybe I'll try and grab that dot square bishop. Giving him a bit of dynamic h-file play there. Can I kick this knight back? I'm hoping knight g5 is not working at the moment. So I want to do this to like kick the knight back. I believe this might be something to do. Probably I should take that. I'm hoping. Okay, he's going to try and get onto a light square. Maybe I should just, I don't know, castling is looking dangerous actually. Trade off rooks to start off with, we'll get the knight to g6. Well, at least that kind of pins on his bishop b5.
Check.
Let's see, he's pinned me in the center. Alright, so we have an endgame scenario. At least I'm not going to get mated that quickly, I think. Okay, so if I play the check and knight c6, this looks like it's an okayish position as far as I can tell at the moment. Maybe g4 for bishop d4. Is that too committal? Bishop d4 or b6 first. I'll take b6 first. Oh, I can win a piece. I can fork the knights. So there's knight c4, there's b5. So knight b7, bishop takes d2. I'm just thinking, okay, I'm thinking b5 here. Now if rook c1, there's bishop d4 check. Knight b7. Right, can I hit this other guy? We're going to have stumbling knights for a bit. Is there a better way? I can't see a better way necessarily. So the knights gonna help each other for moments. Bishop e5, knight c8 though. How long do they stumble around for? If I can play knight c8 next, is that a nice pin? Let's see. Nice pin, knight c5, rook d6. If f4, I think I can play en passant. So do I get time for this to try and win an exchange here? His knight's in an awkward place. Knight c4. Any improvement on rook d1? I can't see it much of an improvement on rook d1. If I can get that rook, I can go for the a2 pawn after. Knight c5, rook d6, knight c8, rook d1. This is a fast and furious 3-minute time control. Okay, I'll take this exchange. Maybe protect the pawn. You can go for f7. At the moment, I'm hoping a2 is going to be significant. Maybe dissolve that for a moment. Can I go for it with knight b6? Just trying to get a pawn here without too much fuss. Right, is there a trap? I hope not. I'm going to lose that other one. No, his knight takes on that. Okay, I'll throw in a check. No, it's not a check. Okay, this pawn, I'll try and just drag it up, I think.
Check.
So he doesn't make me with the two knights. Get some time when he wins all my pawns over there. Okay, it's looking good. Let's have the rook. Maybe e5. Or let's see. Rook g2. Well, I'll keep that pawn just in case. It's nice. e4. Alright. Nice central point for the knight here. Alright, thanks for the game, Balico. Kronis. Kronis on a 5-minute water pairing. Okay. I hope the board's okay. Don't know what happened to my previous presentation. XSplit's going through an upgrade, unfortunately, at the moment, and actually, I would like to save that presentation that I've got. Maybe just briefly after this game. So Kronis, rook e1, maybe for d5 or knight e5. Well, I think d5 here is interesting. His king's still in the centre. What about knight e5? That's curious. I'm not sure I can exploit his king in the centre, actually. Until here, yes, he's pushing me for this d5. Maybe there's a case for it here. Quick d5. Even if the queen's come off, I think I've got a certain amount of pressure on the black position. Okay, that's interesting. Interesting. Bishop c7. If queen d7, knight f6 wins the queen. That does seem very intriguing. What he plays here. If queen c8, knight takes e7. If queen d7, knight takes f6, winning the queen. I think this is a tricky point for my opponent. Now there's knight f6 damaging the pawns.
Check.
I can go for this g6. It's a neglected square here. Subtly go for g6 with that pinned pawn there. I think he spotted it, unfortunately. Well, there's bishop d6, or that looks good. Or the knight coming to f5 looks really good, actually. If I get a knight to f5, let me just check on stream. Everything's okay. All okay. Okay, so knight f5 check here. That looks dangerous, but not yet fatal, it seems. Okay. Okay, I want to sort of go for a mate, I think, now. So with knight e7 and queen h7, that looks pretty dangerous. Knight takes e7, threatened and mate. Yeah, I can leave that bishop on c7 for the moment. Yeah, let me just take my rating so it's not cut off, by the way. Sorry about this. I'll take my full rating. As mentioned, it's a bit cut off on stream. Okay. There we go. All right. Okay, I can threaten mate, but he's on g2. Maybe so. Knight takes e7. He's got rook g2. Maybe I can play king f1. King f1. Oh, is that getting a bit scary? What about just g3 for a moment? That was knight e5. I guess I've got rook e5 and knight e7. Yeah, let's just defend against this rook g2. Mind you, I'm giving him time to defend here. Yeah, giving him a bit of time to defend. That was unnecessary. Okay. What I've done is really silly. Okay, I should have just. This bishop's still hanging. I managed to make a disaster out of this position, aren't I? Anything concrete I can do? Knight takes e7. So it's knight and bishop are not going to be converging too quickly. Now, I get my. It's going to have queen d5 if I'm not careful. There's queen e4. This is really, I've made a mess of this. But anyway, there. I'm a minute down. Okay, try and re-engage into the position. Running bishop takes g6. I think I've stopped queen d5. I haven't stopped that, have I? Can I do this to try and save the day? Re-engage. Regroup. Okay. Knight h4 incoming. He's attacking me. Try and defend with this. It's on the diagonal, it's hitting a8. So knight h4, I'm thinking rook e8. Okay. Can I do something about this? Yeah? Is that any good? Actually, knight h4 I just take. What am I talking about? He takes. So knight h4 is actually plausible, it seems. Knight h4 is plausible. Is there any way of unpinning this situation? Queen g2? I wonder if there's g4 on queen h5. No, that's a bit crazy. Right, it doesn't want an exchange of queens, I take it. Yeah, it's holding together. I don't like how it's holding together. It's holding together things with this kind of attack. It seems. I mean, what about rook d5? Or h4 here? This might be good. This might be good. I'm thinking rook g4, rook f5. It didn't occur to me before. It's kind of prompted that move h4 because I think it was a response to this threat. It made me consider h4 here. I think it's actually a good move. This has not been an easy ride, this game so far. I think I was one move short. But anyway, what's happened has happened. He definitely had some threats and stuff. But now, okay, rook g4, rook f5. Okay, knight h4, rook h4. I'm a bit offside here. Okay, I can just take here, can't I? Take on f5. No. I'll take on f5. I think the worst is over for me. This has been a silly game. Alright. Queen e5 check now for winning this rook, maybe. Or winning f7. Or not. Nope. Let's just get the queens off. This is getting silly enough. I don't want rook f6 with a silly pin. Can I try and get the tactics under control or not? Queen e3? Queen e3 for queen g5? Can I get the tactics under control?
Check. Check.
Right. Finally get these pawns. These pawns.
Check. Check.
That was a really messy, ridiculous game. Thanks anyway. I don't know where I was most of the game. I thought it was, I don't know, crazy. There's a little bit of sort of, as I'm playing against the King's Indian Fincetta variation, but white hasn't committed with c4 anything, so I'm wondering what the plan is here. And there's a bishop f5 line which, okay, which suppresses e4, and this is a bit like a King's Indian Fincetta line, but yeah, white still hasn't played c4. So can I mark out this d4 square or not? Bishop e6 or bishop g4, and knight d4. Alright, do something with this. Can I do this? It seems plausible to do this. Try and weaken the d4 square here, and that also helps e5. I'm just going to try and weaken d4, I think. Okay. Put a knight onto d4. Or maybe I should take on b3 first, then knight d4. And then that's, I think it's okay-ish. Some pressure on e4 maybe. So I can actually snap e4 here. There's a weakness of the last move. Played. Okay. I think. So Let's see. I wonder why that. It looks more attractive from a central theoretical sense, but I was wondering Queen F5 as well. But this one in the centre, there, and to support it. Maybe B5, C4 coming up. Get these pawns rolling down the centre. That is plausible. Okay, I'll go for H3 here. There's a maybe Bishop H6 as well. I'm tempted for B5 though while I've got a chance, to be honest. Because A4 could fix things down. I'll get my pawn roller ready while I take this pawn over here. Pawn roller ready for C4. Okay, there's Rook D5 to H5. Rook D5 to H5. I wonder. Well, there's D3 here. Wait, suppose knight takes D3. On the other hand, Rook D4 and I can double. Is not that pleasant. I'm thinking Rook D5 anyway. Just in case. Well, it's tempting. I've got some tempting stuff here. But one thing that occurs to me is Rook H5. Rather crude. Rook H5 might be serious actually, because Queen F3, Queen H2. So if he has to play, okay, let's at least try and get the queens off with this.
Check.
Then switch attention, I think, to C4 to play C4 here. Okay, I don't mind that if I can get to play C4. So I've got the two connected passed pawns. D3 of course opens up the bishop. Wonder if that's to be played here. Well, there's knight D3. So I could play a less ideal move in light of that, unfortunately. Unless, well, C3 is a less ideal move, but it doesn't let white celebrate this pin basically on my loose rook. So while not ideal, it will have to do. So okay, over here. The laws of the position dictate, it seems, what one can do. So let's see. This I have work to do, lifting a blockade. I can put my bishop here, guarding knight squares to start off with. Maybe guard king entry on e4, then guard e5, c5. Okay, so I'm ready for stopping king march. Need to maybe get my king around here to c4 to support d3. It's a long walk, but white's pretty tied down here. Support my king to c4 or b3. Try and lift the blockade. So king c4, try and lift this blockade.
Check.
Two check is not good. Okay, there's a rook h4 here. That's cute. Oh, there's king b3, but his pawn's a bit dangerous. So probably I should just stop the pawn to start off with. If king e2, I can win the rook with rook a2. So I stop the pawn for a moment. Maybe d3 coming up. I have a feeling my pawns should be strong here. Basically, they're not too far from queening. So let's imagine rook takes c2, check, king d3.
Check.
Right. Oh, rook a2 would have won the rook. Anyway, it could still win the rook. Yeah, it's mate. All right, thanks, J. Russell. Paul Hacker. by the way, if you celebrate Easter, happy Easter. I'm part of Greek Orthodox. I celebrate Easter at the moment. I don't. Yeah. Let's see, knight f6, or there was a fantastic program on TV just earlier, Mary going on about the different foods, traditional Easter stuff, and yeah, I went to get some hot cross buns earlier, and had lots of eggs earlier. Okay, let's see. But there's okay, if I castle knight f4, rook e1. Quite often at Easter in the past went to with friends to play at an Easter Congress. Actually, chess is quite good at Easter as well. Used to go to Sutton quite often in Easter in past years. Then it was Southend for a bit.
Check.
Let's see. Bishop h6 or bishop f5. King c8. King c7, and there's nothing. So let's see. All right. It looks as though there should be something cute here. But the last time I had an f5 square, I didn't do much with it in an earlier game. Let's see. Is there anything really appealing about this position with the king on c7? It should be good. Maybe some simple like pressure moves should be quite good, like queen b3. So I want f7 there. It helps, I think. Queen b3 anyway. It can't be that bad, can it? So here, some more pressure on the diagonal. One thing is my rooks are connected up. Okay, I'll avoid losing that pawn for a moment. Yeah, the diagonal pressure, I think with my rooks connected up, I shouldn't have to do anything too radical. This lack of communication on the pieces here, my pieces are okay, there's pressure points. This is the immediate thing, d5. I think I can just take on d5.
Check.
And take on f7. So let's see. Queen d6, queen f7, bishop d6. Okay. So queen f7. Queen f7.
Check.
Yeah. Well, this lets me win a piece actually. Forcing sequence just to win a piece here. I know changing off queens is. Thanks, Paul Hacker. White House. So yeah, White House. Okay, is White House ready? Playing Sicilian here. Okay, there's a funny little trap in this, which I really have no idea what to do now. Maybe d5. I can't even remember the trap now. So okay, let's just do this. Just do this. And if I just took that, greedy, but alright, let's see. Can I have some just castle here? Not too much concern. And maybe b6 and bishop e7 looks okay-ish to do. You could line up on h7 soon. Have to batten down the hatches here. Knight d7, rook c8. Oh, I could have maybe considered bishop f3 here. Yeah, damage the pawn structure. Bishop d4, bishop g6. I know I've got e5 after. Maybe bishop d4 is possible. It's a bit greedy looking actually. Hold on. Do this. Bishop e4 there is on my rook. Let's just do it with the knight actually. So bishop e4, knight d4 on the queen. Even if okay, so that looks pretty more interesting than bishop, much more interesting than bishop d4 in fact. So here, yeah, this is much more interesting now. I can take here
Check.
and
Check.
try and get onto the diagonal somehow. I wonder if taking is okay-ish. And so what to do about the diagonal? Try and get onto this diagonal. I'm wondering via g4 or h3 to f3. In fact, queen h3 is dangerous. It threatens immediate queen g2 as well as queen f3. So rook g1 wouldn't be sufficient because of queen f3. Can I knock out that defender of the diagonal? I wonder, there's f3 protecting g2 there. Okay, I can attack that one. And now, okay, there's rook c3 in this position, forcing move. I've been looking for more tempos on queens recently since Wesley So's. He had a couple of US Championship games at least with tempo gains on queens which were decisive. Basically, it's not something too trivial when you get tempo gains on the queen. So I don't know. Here I'm wondering, you know, bishop e5. There might be f4. The bishop's hanging here. Queen c7, queen g4 though is what I wanted earlier. I'll be threatening g2 and f3. So queen c7, queen g4, threatening mate. Well, here again, queen g4 looks like it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool because queen g2, if rook g1, queen f3. Got to watch out for the sneaky queen c8. I'd have to take that. That'd be a sneaky move, which has been played. Got to watch out for the sneaky moves and Blitz. Alright, thanks for the game, White House. A4 to h5. That's an interesting maneuver. A4 to h5. Okay. I wonder a little Dutch defense treat here. Aha. Contempt for my Dutch defense already. I hope this is not going to be too painful for me if I play this. Whoa, what's going on here? What's going on here? This is a new one. What is going on here? If I castle, I'm not getting mated just yet. I'm worried about the queen and knight, but I'm threatening knight e4 check, winning the knight over here. Something seems strange about this opening position. A little bit strange, this opening position. Yeah, this surely is a good move, this knight e4 check. Okay, I'll take out that attacking piece. So there's knight f3 check coming in. Knight f3, yes, win the rook. Well, there's queen h4. I think don't have to be greedy. Although I could be greedy with knight d4 to win the queen. That would be a bit naughty but nice.
Check.
To win the queen. Bit naughty to win the queen there. Okay. Oh, there's more of an attack here. I'll take the rook. Okay, thanks for the game. Dashing Fox. Dashing Fox. Try a King's Gambit. Let's see what the reaction is nowadays to the king. It's not usually to take the pawn, funny enough. I guess that line sets a trap up bishop c5 if I took on e5. There's a little bit of pressure on e5 for at least in this line, which makes it positionally interesting, I think. Furthermore, I think d4 might be intriguing. Okay, can I just take out this structure first and then try and get rid of this, and then I'm ready for queen h4 here with g3. Okay, that's an f file that might be intriguing for me or useful. Rook f1 or d3 here. Knight h5 for queen h4. Maybe g4 is needed. I'm concerned about my king. Maybe knight e2. No, my king. d4, d3, d3, knight h5, queen f3. Do I need to play g4? This is really crazy if I do, but I can't see a defense to knight h5 and queen h4 actually in that position. If I played d3, I think knight h5, queen f3, queen h4. I don't know if I'm not seeing something there, but okay. So bishop d2 and castle queenside. Oh, this is getting a bit interesting. Can I queen f3 is queen h4 again? Okay, I need to get a tempo here. Bishop e3 here. Not so pleasant. I think queen h4, bishop f2. Not so pleasant, I gotta say. Not really a shred of King's Gambit initiative, unfortunately. The queen's come off. Don't know. Alright, I could play for e5, I guess. Or rook d4, a4. This is isolated pawn here. Okay. c4 and rook d4. Just to stop. Or rook d5 immediately. Or king out. Okay, there's a lot of possibilities here. There's a lot. What about rook a4 then? Does he play like a5? Then he's got d5. Does he play rook a4 and c4? He plays c6. Okay, this is with d5 on the cards. This is annoying. Can I just gain a tempo there for a moment? There's always g5 if I'm actually losing a pawn. That's the question. This has been a non-entity King's Gambit game. He's neutralized everything, getting this rook and pawn ending. I'm just wondering what's going on here. I wanted to unpin there with that move. If I do this, will he exchange off there? No. Obviously d5 is a pain. Can I improve my position? Maybe rook f2, getting ready for rook a5 without rook e2. I would have a passed a pawn there. What do I need to do in this position? Okay. c4 stops. Whoa, okay. d5, it's check there. Can I do that for a moment? It's check. But one point I'm missing here is he's got d5 in this position, unfortunately. So I end up losing a pawn at this rate. Unless I have the move c4 check to d5. c4 check?
Check.
f5 is restricted at the moment. Oh, crikey. This is a bit of a tense, sorry, I mean tense and intense rook and pawn ending. Okay, a4, maybe. Is that useful or not? I get my king to d3 here. His king can go to b4. If I get my king to d3, that's intriguing. The king is a fighting piece. If I can get it to d3, it's helping things. King d3, king d4. Let's see. I'll pre-move this to save a second or two. King d3 coming up. King d4 after that. Rook takes, say c5. King d3 again. Okay. He's going for f5, I guess. Is it a big deal to play for f5? Okay, this position. Let's have a look. Getting a tempo here, which might be good for rook f2 actually.
Check.
On his f6. Or try and make his king. Rook f2 looks intriguing. There's rook e6, there's king d5, there's rook e5, repetition. This check looks appealing actually for rook b7. There's always c5 check. What about c5 here? I could try and give myself more options with c5 there without c5 from black. The clock situation's pretty tense here now. There's no f5. Don't know. Can I go for c7? Cut his king. I'll go for c7. Get my c pawn going. Okay. There's another pawn over here. Okay. Okay. Let's not spend too long. The time is absolutely critical here. He's got that extra pawn, but if his king's not coming out, it's not coming out. Okay. Is it some sort of zugzwang coming up? What about another pass pawn over here with e5? If I can get another pass pawn. Oh. No, I think I might have lost this. I've lost the plot.
Time warning.
Oh dear, I lost the plot there. Wow, I think he beat me last time. I really lost the plot. Well played. Okay. Bishop mate. Did I just play bishop? Have I just played bishop mate earlier? No, no, I haven't played bishop mate. Oh dear, that ending. Okay, this is very difficult to make a good ending, and you got seconds. But I thought I had something there, but that's a bit gutting actually. Okay, that's the way it went. That's the way the cookie crumbled. Okay, h6, and then think about the center. I think h6. Think about the center. Okay, let's take off this bishop for a moment. So queen c7 and queen. Okay, queen d7, queen h3. There's always knight f4. In any case, if I can play g5, queen h3, knight g4, maybe that's an improvement. Because these light squares are a bit sensitive, so I think g5 or not. There's something better here. There's a plan. Okay, things are simplifying here. What about this one? Try and keep some tension. Rook d8, e5. Alright. So e5 and f5. Nope, that's pretty restricted. Tricky one. Okay, so d5, I'm losing control of e5. It's really restricted. The knights look interesting. Queen f5 just to provoke g4. If I'm threatening g5 there, just provoke g4. That might be something to provoke g4. Is that anything? It's a little threat of g5 here. It's sort of committal, I suppose, to play g4. Or okay, maybe h5 here. Maybe is d5 knight g5. I think e5 kicks off first here. There's knight d5 on e5. Wow. Okay. Do this, teasing the knight. There's rook e7. Okay, let's sort out this pawn for a moment. How's this endgame? We keep the queens on, or go for knight. Oh, let's just take the queens off. Okay, e6 and d5 maybe. So bishop e6. And if I just have that double pawns for a moment, stop knight c6 and try and do something with the double pawns. But what exactly? Get a knight here, maneuver a knight to f5. There's also a minority attack. I can try and play b5, d4 and stuff. But I think one plan initially that might be cool. Well, I can actually also double rooks here for a moment in preparation for b5, b4. It looks kind of a classic recipe in a way. but maybe I can mix it up with, I don't know, h4, knight h5 as well. Knight d3. Okay, so b5, a5, b4. Okay, that is hanging. So it's a bit of a wrecked structure now. Probably I can get my king to e7 and play knight d7. Or any other ideas? I can get the knight to f5 and it hits. Actually, h4 is not as pretty there. It hits h4 and d4. If I have a knight on f5, if I can get this knight here, you can see how these guys. So knight d6 to f5 looks like a good plan. Okay. So this one of these is going to drop, isn't it? Knight d4. This looks a very good endgame position to have, in principle.
Check.
Okay, like b4 here as well on king d2, and it's a knight f3. If a3, a5. Okay, this is looking good still. Well, there's also, in fact, there's also knight. No, I think I just need f3. That should be cool. Any mischievous knight
Check.
move here? Get these guys. Okay. Thanks, Rocky Top. They don't want to play the most dull opening in history, but yes, more exciting than bishop f4 is bishop g5. One might argue, I suppose. Yeah, so e3, knight d2, bishop d3. It's got it's a possession anyway. Okay. So g5, bishop g3, or am I playing for e3, knight d2? Let's see, e3 and knight d2, and then, yeah, knight d, is it going to go queen b6? That's tempting, always with this bishop leaving b2, that's tempting. In this position, I wonder knight c3, knight e5, queen before c3, it's queen a5 there. Okay, I think I'm just gonna, let's just give him that pawn like that, give him that pawn like that. I might just double the pawns here and bishop d3. I'll be happy with whatever turns up there, I think, after. That should be enough compensation. Poison pawn, the b pawn is the poison pawn. So queen b2, I'm going to just take on f6 and maybe just get a development lead for that pawn. It looks like a poison pawn. In some respects. Okay, I'm going to double here, and I wonder if I can play for c4. I've had this over the board game recently against a strong IM, and he made things worse by playing like to play c4 cd, because you get an isolated pawn there as well as double pawns there. And I'm going to keep that in reserve, but basically I want c4 later for cd to sort of fracture the pawns even more. The activity argument is tenuous here about the G file, because once that plan happens, I've been thinking about this. Pieces can become very active, but are they passive active or aggressive active? If you could argue, if I inflict later an isolated queen's pawn, the activity is going to get more and more passive of the black pieces here. the seeds are sown. At the moment, yeah, it looks like there's activity. I had a similar game with black recently. I just know the feeling now. If this isn't clear and imminent resources on the G file, I'm going to try and further fracture the pawns, and I think the activity just goes a bit more passive because more and more responsibility is placed on maintaining the pawn structure. So it looks almost as if it's solid here. I think this is illusional. The activity to the G file is a little bit token. I think I just need to create some more structural liabilities, and that activity is going to become more passive. It looks a little bit aggressive, but it's going to become more passive soon. I think the C4 CD, once pieces have to start maintaining the pawn structure, it's the activity. I think you'd have to qualify it as passive activity, not aggressive. So I'm playing for C4 CD. If I can get an isolated pawn there, okay, that's a good attempt to do something with the G file. You could argue, because E4 FG, this is a weaker pawn chain. Keep the pawn chain strong here and just give that, just aiming to isolate the D pawn. Keeps this pawn chain a bit stronger if I do this, I think. Or do I worry about that? I don't know, actually. Do I worry about the bishop sack? Or do I just play E4? I don't think the bishop sack necessarily is a concern. Maybe E4 is better, actually. If the bishop sack isn't a concern... What I'm considering as well is the fact that... No, I don't know now. Has he got aggressive activity with that? I think it's getting aggressive. E takes or E4. There's an argument that the pawn chain's more solid with this. I'll go with this. This trio is a bit more solid. I'll go with that argument for a moment, but I can't play C4 here. I could unpin here for a moment, and then try and arrange C4 at some point. This is a bit... It's going to take some while to arrange C4, that's the thing. It's going to take a while. Knight F1 to E3 and then C4. Actually, as soon as I play C4, he's got this diagonal as well. Maybe there's a different plan actually, which is Knight B3 to C5. That might be more tempting here. Okay, let's keep this solid, this pawn chain, just in case. With a bishop sack. So Knight B3 to C5. Now he's got aggressive activity at the moment. There's no denying it's aggressive activity. I haven't tied him down to any further structural weaknesses. I think one thing though is king there. I'm going to try and show it might be vulnerable. If I get Knight C5 in, this B file, bishop D. Ooh. That bishop is looking nasty on D7 all of a sudden. Okay. This could go south. Basically, this could go south. That bishop is potentially a nasty piece now. Where is it going? We got B5. They could take here as well. Maybe. Yeah. Well, it says king though behind that. Oh, there's a check. I've just lost, haven't I? He had check and bishop h3. It's just like winning the exchange in the game, probably. Okay. I haven't really proven his activity is non-aggressive. In fact, I seem to be proving how aggressive his activity is. In this position, he just had a wipeout with Queen F3, Rook G2, Bishop H3. Apart from that, everything's fine about this game. Okay. It's still bad. It's still bad. Oh crikey! I'm gonna defend like crazy now. Why did I give him that G file? That was crazy. That was mental. Okay. I gotta get to his king before mine. It comes down to that. It's a street fight now. I gotta get to his king before mine. Okay, that's helpful to get rid of that light square bishop because that's a bit of a killer as well. Checking out the queens off. F4, D4, King G1. No, blockade, Knight D4. This looks interesting. Kind of. When I say interesting, it sort of blocks this diagonal. It loses a pawn on G3. Any Queen F4? Yeah, he's got Queen C7. Ah, man. Oh, he's threatening mates as well there. That's great. Okay, at the moment it's not mate. My queen's holding that, but it's getting close. I'm getting close to being mated here. I'll do this. There's Queen H6. There's Rook H2. What about if I force the queens off? That might be a safer route to try and do something in this position.
Check.
If I get the queens off here,
Check.
and then try and avoid getting mated with the two rooks, then
Check.
I'm in the ending like 2 pawns down. So he wants to humiliate me with the double rook mate, I see. Okay, thanks. Okay, King H2. Oh. Yeah, so much for the theory I was going on about. So much for that. Yeah, okay. In practice, he had a really aggressive activity there, and I should have lost, basically. The Master of Disaster. Okay, the Master of Disaster. It might be better on longer time controls, that kind of thing. It's pretty dangerous to try and neutralise counterplay on a Blitz game. If on the longer time controls, I think what I was saying might make sense, but the proof is in the pudding. If you can get the activity to be passive, otherwise, yeah. So Bishop C5 here. No, okay. My shame level's going up. I've got the bunny ears ready. My shame level's going up, okay? The bunny ears are ready, okay. Please don't worry me on chat. Can someone there's things happening in the world. We want to escape with chess because there's horrible things happening in the world right now. Don't want to think about. Okay. Let's see. I'm just losing another game here to cheer you guys up. Okay. Can I defend this like crazy? This E5. So defending E5 like crazy. This is another fantastic position I've got myself into. Okay. Okay, I'm playing like a bunny. How to play like a bunny. It's the Unknown book by Kotov, who released Think Like a Grandmaster, and then a year later secretly released Think Like a Bunny. Okay, so let's see. Okay, F6. Can I avoid my bishop being trapped? Okay. Okay, just kill you out. Okay, so maybe bishop F7. They're worrying me in chat, distracting me, saying about World War III coming up or something. No, I'm hoping that's not happening. So, yes, someone said it's all okay. Fine, thank you. Okay, so bishop F7, King B8. All the problems of the world can be solved playing chess. They should just play chess with each other. That's fine. So King B8, bishop F7, C5, B5. Actually, I've got no real plan here. He's really got a nice blockade on the position.
Check.
Okay, I can undouble my pawns. So king b8, d5, knight d6. Right, d5 for the c file. Okay. Can I blunt the bishop with d4? This is going to be a long-term plan with this pawn structure. He's playing drafts with me. Look, all his pawns are like a drafts position. This is very funny. Okay, drafts. Inspired by Ivanchuk, who's a master of drafts as well as chess. He's got a high rating. Maybe he's top 100 or something. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what his world ranking in drafts is. Okay, but it was funny when he won the rapid to go off to a drafts tournament after. So d4, c5. Actually, structurally, you know, this pawn could be a target later. Let's see. I blunt the bishop first. I think safety first. Blunt this bishop. Right. Can I do this? It doesn't matter about b5. I'm blunting that bishop. I could put a knight on f4. The knight could go like this to f4. Where else could this knight go? I could arrange that with g6 and work backwards. Okay. Yeah, let's go with this maneuver. In fact, the knight could be on c5 as well. Let's close here. Yeah, I think a knight to f4 plan. Knight e6. So he opens the a file. Yeah. In the meantime, I can do this greedy plan of trying to win this poor little h pawn over here. In the absence of nothing else to do, I'll win the poor little h pawn. Okay. So takes queen a6. What about if I try and provoke him to play a6 to close up over here? Okay. Or alright, might have to switch back. Can I'll keep my pawns intact. Yeah. And can I take this guy? Because I'm thinking taking this as check to escape from the wrath of the self pin. I've inflicted myself there.
Check.
So that's a little check. There's bishop e2, and I can get out of the self pin again with d3. Or not. Did I just blunder there? Can I play queen e3? That gives me queen c3. Like queen c3 looks annoyingly good for me.
Check.
From my point of view, bishop d3.
Check.
Yeah, thanks. Max happy. Okay. Max happy. We had a challenging game, I think, last week. Oh, I remember it was a razor sharp thing. We're gonna have another fun game like that this week. Wow. How does this theory go? G4 bishop f6. I'll go with knight a4, not knight d5 this time. Am I just worse here? Okay, he's winning a knight it seems, but there's knight b5. Check, check. E5, pinning that against the rook. Oh, this is getting exciting again. There might be... Yeah, let's have a look at this. If rook c8, e5 against the rook.
Check.
There's knight d5. There's rook d5, ed, queen d5, rook c8, rook d1, threatening queen d8, bishop e7. Let's have a look at this. This might be nonsense. So, rook d1 threatens queen d8 potentially. Potentially not here. What about rook d1 takes e6? Might be unsound. What's the problem? Might be unsound. What about bishop takes and queen h5 here? This diagonal, this messed off like this. It uses all the diagonals to the king. Queen h5, queen f7. Queen h5, g6. Queen f5, g6, queen g5. So if takes queen h5. Queen g5 for a moment. f5. I play f5. So it's rook g6. So it takes queen h5. There's no rook g6. I got the two connected past pawns. e7. If bishop takes rook e1. e7 looks good for rook d8. What's the problem with e7 here? I think.
Check.
bits. Bishop, rook e7's threat. Oh, bishop e7. No, I think rook e8. FG, this could be good on the F file. See it. Taking bishop d8, king e6, queen f6. Well, I can win the queen, can't I? Can I? Not really. Oh no. I think I'm going to run out of time as well. Don't think this works. Hang on.
Check.
Let's try it here.
Time warning. Check.
I think I've lost on time. Because, I don't know, for a while it was a bit fun. This is losing anyway on position as well. This isn't working. Oh well, I had to go. Okay, Cap Red, thanks for the game. Well played. Okay. Yes, I think the last week's game was probably better, theoretically, to open up. That Knight on the Rim was, I think, better last week, just to open up the centre file. I think was more dynamic last week, rather than Knight A4, so we're going to have a theoretical debate about that line next week. Continued. It didn't seem right from really. I wasn't that convinced. Okay, so okay.
Check.
Knight d4. Okay, knight e7 for c6. Was f4 here? Am I getting hacked? Okay, knight d4. Knight d4 here, because there's knight e2 on queen f4. So queen f3 and knight d4. Can I play here? I want to play like c6. Do I get a chance to play c6? Just wondering if... Okay, what's happening here? Is he losing a knight, or am I getting mated? Okay, it looks like rook g8 and queen f3. I can take that guy. Now if rook d1, I think I can take this one. For knight f3 to win the rook.
Check.
There's queen f3 to take the queens off.
Check.
Okay, I think maybe white overextended a little bit there. Maybe, I don't know, unless there was some technical resource. Now we played h5 earlier. Chamax I don't remember playing. Okay, so e6, knight c6. If I play for, I'll avoid the double pawns here for a moment. Is he going to play d4? I think I'll take it in d5. So f6, b6 and bishop a6. Alright, maybe g5 here. If he takes, then he's got bishop g5. Do I play this anyway? I'm on the bishop. He uses the bishop? I'll just take this. He's got a nice blockade though. I'll take on f3 and knight d4. I'm tempted for that instead. Rook f3 or... Oh, it's just a 5 minute. I don't want the blockade on e5 particularly. I mean, it's just a 3 minute. It's not even a 5 minute. Okay. So my point is, there was a point to this, to win a pawn for the exchange. I think I'll keep my bishop. If I have the bishop, as long as I don't lose a pawn immediately. So bishop d7, queen f6 should be... I'm hoping this doesn't lose tactically to something. Oh, there's knight d5 there. Oh, probably does. And maybe d4 is a safer bet. You have knight e4, e5. This might be a safer bet. So knight e4, e5. And then bishop f5 after. Bishop f5, queen e7, rook f8 should have something going for it. Now here, or here, or queen e7 as rook d4, just getting rid of the queens even. Let's just get rid of the queens. I'm happy to be the exchange down if I'm not losing a pawn. Potentially two connected pass pawns. Well, stop f4 undermining. Okay. D3, is that any good? Actually, it would be good with D2, actually. But he's blockading. Okay, he's blockading. I'm trying to avoid a strong blockade. Can I get my king to like D5 or something? It's knight C3. Alright, further. This might help lift blockades actually, if I get my king now to d5. So like a5, king d5, e4. Or king d5, or just, yeah, coming up with e4 soon. Am I lifting any blockade?
Check.
I'm not really. There's bishop e4. For a moment. Let's do that.
Check.
There's another
Check.
pawn. a4. Coming on.
Time. Check. 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 Check.
Trying to avoid being mated. Yeah, I was a bit fanciful there. I just didn't want an e5 blockade earlier. So for some reason yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. Okay. So if I castle in rook e1, I think Wesley So likes his exchange sacks. He played a few exchange sacrifices in the US Championship and playoff. I think. I think it's interesting. Players that like exchange sacks, I think, are quite in tune with some. Well, when they work, I mean, yeah, I think you have to be in tune with the pawn structure, opportunities evolving after an exchange sack. I'm not sure I really had the dynamic potential there of those pawns or not. Okay, so knight b3, avoid knight b3. I'm under pressure here. I wonder if is that e5 just trying to open up this diagonal? e5, there's knight d5. Okay, maybe h4 runs into knight g4, ha. Forking queen and king. So, not too many major attacking options. Knight d4 might be sensible, gaining a tempo, and maybe f4. That would heal my pawns a bit if he took that pawn duo. I'm just wondering f4, f5. Keep the bishop on the diagonal. So let's see, h4, h5, trying to soften this pawn chain around his king might be good. Yeah, I think that's, well, yeah, h4, h5. No, it's that g4 thing. He just goes knight e5, then he goes into like g4. What do I do about that? f3? Any problem with f3 there? Alright, I'll go with this. Knight e5 threatening knight g4, f3. Oh, he's got bishop h6 on the cards. Time for knight f5, I think. Something dynamic. It stops bishop h6. If he takes, maybe there's queen g5 after. I'm fracturing a couple of pawns here as well as stopping bishop h6. So if I get queen g5, queen h5, I think there's a bit of compensation there. Just look at the pawn fractures around the king to start off with. Alright, I have to stop knight g4. As previously noted. Queen g5 coming up. How does he defend that? Right. And take off that bishop and queen g5, just get another pawn at least.
Check.
Or something else here. There's rook h8, that's not particularly appealing. What about f4? f4. He's got queen e7 to swap things off. f5 takes, and maybe f6 after. I'm not sure this is that sound actually after queen e7. Can't do queen g3, does queen h4. So I'll probably force to play f5. He should speed up though, he's only got a minute. He should speed up here. It's a bit difficult to speed up if you're on the defence on a sort of... Is it defence? Well, that I don't think that helps. I mean, I'll take him bishop f5 here. Don't think that helps. There's rook e6. This doesn't help. That was a bit panicky. I think he just had queen e7. A little bit panicky there. Okay, yeah, I think that was fine. I just want to step back for a moment. Let's have a quick look at engine view. I think just queen e7. That's winning basically. It's got d5. Is it queen e7? Yeah, well, okay. Alright, so MLab. MLab. Is MLab ready? Okay. Might not be. Oh, yes, yes. Okay, let's play this Limswitch thing here. Knight's Tango. Queen Knight's Tango to tango over here. So knight g6, knight f6. I'm trying to get these dark squares with the pawns on light squares, trying to get the adjacent dark squares with this system. It's quite pleasant sometimes, quite often, especially in bullet chess. It doesn't involve losing material, that's another bonus. So my friend Paul Georgiou played this a lot and influenced some of my other friends' stuff and ideas, but this is one of the little things. So h6, okay, so bishop d7 maybe, queen c8 even, or just castle. Oh, possibly I should have played b6 actually. I was thinking, if I would play knight f4 I lose e5 here. What about here? That doesn't lose e5 structure. Structurally, I'm supporting e5 there. It's just an inconvenience of a rook compared to a structural concession. So if I want him to like take here and get the f4 without e5 being weak. This is very dangerous with knight g4 now, I think. Especially dangerous if knight f4. Even might have to think about non-recapture, move knight f4. Like here. Maybe just bishop g2, queen g4, knight f4. Is there time for white to actually do this? Bishop g2 seems a lot of fun. I only live once. Apparently, okay. Unless you're a cat, 9 lives. Okay, so queen h3, knight f4. Well, knight f4
Check.
immediately. It's getting big tempo here. On a non-standard, non-recapture. King g1, queen g4. Yeah, this looks strong, this knight f4 here. Looks pretty strong. I think it's mating. Actually, it's that strong. I think it's mating. Looks to be mating. Alright, thanks to the game. We've played Desmetov, haven't we? Earlier, as well as you guys are wanting more than one game. Can't do that. We've played Desmetov. No? No, actually we didn't. No, we did not. When did we play Desmetov? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's play. Let's play. Let's play. I think I was talking about this Desmetov earlier. I've confused myself. I was talking about something this Desmetov would do. No, we haven't played him tonight. So, okay. So knight f3 and bishop e2. So knight c3 and oh, what's happening here? Okay, this is very energetic. I'm wondering just to play the check. I'm so tempted to play this check for some reason. I have the doubled pawns. Gone crazy here. Have I? It doesn't seem right that he's used an extra move or something to play c5. Doesn't seem right. Maybe he's got a point though. Have I got anything here on queen d4? Maybe just bishop e3. Well, I can double the pawns first, and then bishop e3. I'm hoping with a bit of compensation. Is that a really silly way of looking at the position? I can do a desperado here, so I get a pawn back.
Check.
So, are we a pawn down? We shouldn't be. So, fractures, cover the pawn fractures to target. I got my own damage over here. Yeah, okay, that's probably a good point. Okay, knight c3 then. Knight c3 and see what happens. Is he taking her? If I can get a nice bishop on c3, yeah, I think I like a bishop on c3. Bring the king to e2. So we've managed to get a really dull endgame position, or maybe mildly dull endgame position. From all that. Let's get the king somewhere sensible. Except I'm losing this. I'm conscious I'm going to be losing a pawn over here to rook h5. Well, there's king g2. There's rook g5. Huh. Okay. I've already lost one rook and pawn tonight. This looks like not too hot, as hot goes for rook and pawn endings. It's not too hot, but anyway, let's see. I can imagine, yeah, this is going to be tricky. Get king up. Any lessons to learn from the other one earlier? Any lessons not to lose a pawn at some point? Like now, losing a pawn. Is that king and pawn ending completely lost? Might have a pass pawn in the centre if he goes crazy with his king there. On that side, get a pass pawn in the centre. If he really wants to fix my pawns to go in the king and pawn ending. Alright. Steps of these, and then so yes. Yeah, I need a plan. This is not too hot. Not too hot. H5, H6. Yes. I mean, it seems losing. Yeah. I'm just getting a losing rook and pawn ending again. Is f3 worth playing? Okay, I'll go with this, as though f3 might be useful for my f pawn. Isn't that... no, there isn't f7. Well, actually there is, because if he takes on my queen, and he queens, I got the check, and I win his queen. It's tactics here. f7, this might be a blunder. f7 is looking as though I might actually win this rook and pawn ending on this occasion. So just check this again. Takes, queen, queen, check. Can't see why f7 isn't winning necessarily on this occasion. Mind you, could king a7. Yeah, it's not over on king a7. The checks, the checks.
Check.
I'm hoping will lead somewhere. Well, there's queen a7. Yeah, well, I've got the opportunity for queen a7. Right. Can I grab this pawn without losing? I don't want another pass pawn at me over there, particularly. I've got I've got another pass pawn myself as well over here. So unless I'm winning the rook tactically, I can try. Sorry, I don't know why this is becoming comedic, this ending. This ending's getting an element of comedy now. Okay, it's just probably the way I'm playing it is funny. I don't know. It's 2 queens are better than 1. I'm working on that. 2 queens are better than 1.
Check.
Okay. I'll get rid of this dangerous pass pawn. And I'm throwing a check to get another queen. Oh no, I like these checks to get another queen. Without losing the first queen. It's good to get another queen without losing your first queen. Okay. It's only 25 seconds. 25 seconds. Okay. Let's give me it. Thanks. I don't know, that ending was just abominable. Let's have a look. This is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. No, that's not what you want from the Smith Morrow.
Check.
I don't know. I've been conned here
Check.
somehow
Check.
to get this lost rook and pawn ending. This is definitely... How can black not win this? Let me see. Let me see for a moment. This is a diabolical plan to damage the pawn structure, losing another pawn in the process. But it did mean that I got f6, which meant this pawn. Somehow this all seems wrong, though. There. Is that really such a big mistake? Rook b8, rook a6, then king. What's happening here? The difference is that this pawn is stopped and the king's hurting that pawn, so that's fine. Yeah, that's the way to play it. It seems I was let off. I'm not sure why. That's pretty radical, because the king can't. No, the rook blocks the rook from stopping the pawn. Again, rook b6 is okay, tactically. All of a sudden this is now totally wrong, because it seems even rook a8 is strong here. This is weird. Well, if here, I just take here, right? Okay, these rook and pawn endings, maybe they're not that easy, you know. Okay, this one. It's comedy. It's Endgame comedy. You see, Smyslov had a lot of fun after all in his games. Oh, we should all check Smyslov. He had a lot of fun with his endgames, transitioning the game into an endgame. Okay. I'm going to play this because I've seen not David Howe, Gawain Jones play it in Dubai Open. I was checking his games the other day. He came in the leader pack finally. I don't think Magnus Carlsen was playing this year in the Dubai Open. I'm going crazy here. H5, H4. Clearly this is the best way to play the position. Playing H3 or Queen G5. There's Bishop F2 for G3 here, I think. Yeah, I'll play Bishop G4 anyway, I think.
Check.
Then Queen G5, making out the loose piece here, if that can be used tactically at some point. Mind you, this f5 isn't great at the moment. Bishop e6 might be needed. Okay, bishop e6 or rook f8. Keep it trained on g4 with rook f8 for a moment. So I get to play bishop g4. This might be dangerous. Or not. Keep the queens on. Somehow I'm thinking to take the queens off. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so let's see this position. Maybe like rook b8. I've got active rooks here, haven't I? If b3 there's bishop e5, forking f6 and c3. Yeah, this active rook has caused some devastation, huh? With this b3 move. It's that looks pretty strong.
Check.
Okay. Right. I'm gonna get rid of that rook. Bishop d4 and h3. Or let's see, h2 and bishop h3.
Check.
Okay, thanks for the game there. Okay, I think we played a4, h5. Let's play a 3-minute game on the auto pairing. Remember, please, to if you like the stream, likes welcome, yeah, to beef up the marketing to help ICC, etc. Because it goes on the ICC channel, this stream initially, and they kindly give me permission after to put it on my channel. But all likes appreciated for the social marketing aspects of the video. So likes really appreciated. Thumbs up on YouTube if you can, if you're watching this from YouTube especially. And okay, plug over. Okay, let's see. So can I play like this with e4 in mind, or f3 e4? Alright. Maybe an f4 actually. I can get on with f4, f5 here. Or am I weakening? I guess do that. Okay, is that a good pawn sack he's played or not? I'm not sure I'm convinced totally. If this bishop's hemmed in, it's not going to be so funny. If I can open up this bishop to see the light of day, it's good d4's covered by this pawn here. Kick this knight away and play e5 or f5. Doesn't matter about queen c3. It probably does. So maybe queen c2 to start off with. Try and hold c3 because d4 is connected to losing c3 and the rook. But d4, I don't want to lose control of d4. So easy does it. Easy does it. Okay, he's on g2. Can I do this? I'm holding d4 at the moment. Try and hold g2 a bit more. I'm wondering if bishop e1 is plausible. Or is it necessary? maybe rook a1 and e5 could be fun. That would target h7 as well. Alright, I'll try and do this e5 plan. Can I do this? That's okay now. Still, I've got the e5 plan. So he's on g2, finally threatening mate. And e4. Okay, that's a nuisance. Is there rook e2 here without losing immediately? Or rook f2 even? I think rook f2. Knight f3 is not working at the moment. Alright, bishop f1. So that, I'm just checking out knight f3 though. Let's take that with the rook. A bit defensive, this position. I'll kick this guy out of here. Queen h3 threat. Maybe, you know, queen g3, because if he took, the knight's stranded. I think that's a bit naughty that the knight is stranded. No, it's not stranded. Okay. Alright, this looks as though it's possible. E5. Just double. Can I get a rook somewhere or not? F5? No, there's no F5. I'll try and get the rook to the 7th rank. Ah, that's not happening there. Okay. It's again attacking me, this guy. F5 here. Oh, that was really super dumb. Great. Okay, I finally get e7 anyway.
Check.
D7. Oh, I get another rook and pawn ending with an extra 30 seconds. Spare.
Check.
Oh, winning the bishop there. Okay, Hamlet. Let's see. This might have to be the last game, by the way. I hope you enjoyed the session today. Remember, the likes appreciated, totally appreciated, wonderfully appreciated. Any likes? So this could be the last session. The last session? No, I mean last game of this session. Hopefully, see you next week. Barring any. Okay, hopefully see you next week. So bishop d3 and castling. Okay, so bishop d3 and castles. So if I play, okay, e6 is almost tempting. It's almost tempting. Yes, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it for knight g5 to e6. It has to be played surely. There's also knight h7 as well for bishop g6. Right, stops both, right. I can fracture the pawns at least for a moment. Or play for queen e1, bishop e4. So bishop e4, try and weaken the light squares. Or at least neutralise that bishop. Actually, knight b5 here is probably quite tasty as well. Knight b5, that check there, knight d7, queen e6 looks crushing. There's a queen f7. If knight a6, rook d1, I don't think he's got time for that. Knight b5 here as well. Queen c6 is on g2 though. Mind you, there's bishop e4. Queen b5 takes, bishop b7, bishop c6 to follow. So I'm thinking knight b5 might be good actually. Queen c6, bishop e4, queen b5. What am I talking about? I'm miscalculating there. No, he's just got queen c6 here. Okay, I need to just protect this. If he takes there, bishop b5. What? I'm thinking my queen's on e2 for some reason. That's crazy. I was thinking my queen's on e2. That's mental. Sorry, pardon me. My queen's not on e2. There's total miscalculations. It's good we're ending here soon. Total miscalculation. My queen's not on e2. Let's get the plot. Get back to the plot. Jeez. Okay. Okay. How lost is this now? Wow. Alright, can I actually do some calculations that are real? So knight e5, how does he castle? That knight's not moving so easily. Queen e4, maybe rook e2. Okay, rook e2 might be handy anyway, coming to think about it. Bishop d2 to somewhere. I want to get my other rook working. Probably need to keep some tension in the position and keep that knight. Try and keep some tension in the position. Avoid exchange of pieces, a piece down. So c3, c3. Oh, this is just miserable. Okay, it's miserable, but anyway. King h1. Oh. Okay, okay. King h1 and. Okay, can I actually take that? Or is there bishop d4? Can I prepare that without bishop d4? Can I play this? So I want to play knight c4 here for rook e4 without bishop d4. Calculation's gone to pot. I know. Okay, there is knight d6 on rook e6. There's knight d6, but he's going to take that knight. If I played knight d6 here on rook e6, this might be a better proposition. Okay,
Check.
okay, I'll do this.
Check.
No, he's just going to get the rooks off with rookie check. Ah! Oh no! Alright, I'm making things a load worse. Okay, I'm making things a load worse. I want to play FG in response to rookie 8. That's why I'm playing this now. Ah! It's gone. Let's see how I can last a few more moves. It's gone. Any cheapos to set up? Rook f5, cheapo. Using his king as well. The cheek of it. Using his king. Things have really got bad. When he's using his king to defend like that. Okay.
Check.
There's a check over here.
Check.
Right, its king's slightly exposed though. That's surely not ideal. That its king's slightly exposed. Okay. Rookie 1.
Check.
He's threatening to terminate me with rook h2 soon.
Check.
Better keep running with checks where possible.
Check.
Right. Rook e7.
Check.
And then I'm totally dead. Okay.
Check.
Alright, I have to avoid getting mated now.
Check.
Okay, this is a way of losing a piece, a whole rook. Okay, something else.
Time warning. Check. Check.
Oh, I got mated. Oh, how embarrassing to get mated. I thought I was going to win on time. Or draw on time or something. But no, it's a great way to finish the session. Okay, we're a few minutes. Well played, well played. No, I didn't deserve anything. That was horrible. Well played. Okay, should we end there? On that disastrous note, we'll end there. On that bombshell, as they say in Top Gear. Okay. Okay, I think I need to, yeah, whatever. I'll go and watch the Gilmore Girls and stuff. Okay, have a good weekend and Easter. See you next week. Okay, thanks very much. Okay. Yeah, thanks. Okay, cheers then.